Hello, and welcome to another session of I Do Really. Today, what I want to do, I want to tell everyone a story. I want to tell you a story about, I don't know if you would call this true love, but I believe this is agape love. This is the love that God has toward us. This is a story about a woman when she was young. She was told not to marry this man. Her father told her not to marry this man. Her mother told her not to marry this man. And her pastor told her not to marry this man. But before that, when she was younger, her mother used to beat her. Okay? And she told her mother one day, "You'll never beat me again." So now this girl, she done met this man and they're going to get married. But everyone's telling her, don't marry this man. So they get married. And after they get married, now he changes. Now he starts beating her. And she had to go back to her mother and tell her mother, "Mother, I am so sorry for telling you that you will never beat me again because I'm getting it now." While she was in college, she was married to this man. And she ended up, because he was beating her, she could not study like she needed to. So I don't know if she dropped out or not. This lady goes to my sister's church. And my sister's telling me the story after she done told the story. So while she was in college, he was beating her. She couldn't really get her grades. But after a while, she ended up getting pregnant. And I don't know when she got pregnant because I don't know how old her oldest son is. But I don't know how old her oldest son is. Slow down. But she got pregnant and he even continued beating her while she was pregnant. Ended up hitting her in her stomach that her son came out a preemie. Okay, now I don't know how many years has gone by, but they're over, I believe, his parents' house. And they're having a discussion about something. And the wife this lady ended up saying, "Well, it didn't happen like that." So after a while, they end up leaving. So the man, when they got home, he told her, "I want you to fix that. In other words, I want you to lie and tell my father about what I said happened." She said she ain't going to do that. The man got so angry at her that he told her, "I'm going to kill you." So he grabbed her by the neck and started choking her. Choked her till she passed out. Now, this is what the lady said. When she passed out, I think she died because she said that two angels came, one on her left and one on her right, came and took her and was carrying her out of her body, took her out of her body and was carrying her up. She said when she turned around and looked at her body and her husband is picking her up and squeezing her until he breaks her ribs. Then he takes her and throw her up against the wall. So there's blood on the wall. And then she falls down. And she tells the Lord, "Lord, I can't go right now." She said, "Lord, I got a baby to raise." So they let her go. And she went right back in her body. She opened her eyes and her husband looked at her and said, "I'm tired. I'm going to go to bed." She said, "Okay." And he went to bed. Even after that, that woman stayed with that man. She was a wife to him. There were times whereby she told him, She had to tell her mother. I believe it was after she had the first baby. Maybe before, I don't know if it's before this situation happened. I don't want to get into all that detail about that, but she would have to tell her mother, I need you to take care of my child for me because things ain't just good at home. But she ended up staying with that man. Okay, and while she's staying with him, after that situation happened, she gets pregnant again and has another baby, has a girl. But before all of that, her and her mother went to the store. I think this is before she got married. They went to the store. Her mother died at the store. She prayed and told the Lord, Lord, not right now, not now. My mother's not ready to die. She's not ready to go. She revived. 3 times that happened. And I believe on the 3rd time, the mother gave her life to the Lord. Okay, remember that. She praying, Lord, don't let my mama die. She's not ready. So she lived. So now all these years are going by and she's going through all this abuse with this man. But she has another baby by him. Another baby by him after he done choked her to death, crushed her, broke her ribs, and threw her up against the wall. I don't know now if, okay, before I say that, so now it comes time for him to die. And she praying, Lord, please, he's not ready. Don't take him, Lord, he's not ready. The Lord said, not this time. And then he passes. Now, I don't know if he died a year ago or 5 years ago, but the lady is now 62, and I believe her daughter is 28. And now she tells the story about what happened to her. Now, what do you think? Is that agape love? That was love unconditional. A lot of people, they divorce their spouses over things less than that. I'm not saying I could do it, because this is the way I look at it. You not gonna beat me and sex me too. You can't have both. But she ended up having another child with him after he choked her to death, cracked her ribs, and threw her up against the wall. Now, isn't that a story to tell? When she married, but the whole thing about it, she could have avoided that if she would have only listened to when people were telling her, don't marry that man. I know a young lady today, they told her, don't marry that man. Her own pastor told her, don't marry that man. But I believe because everybody around her was getting married, she was like, she wanted to get married too. I want to experience this. And a virgin in the church. I don't believe they lasted 2 years. I even dreamed. I think before I knew about how their relationship was going, I dreamed that I saw her and I was happy to see her. And I went up to her, I said, hey. And she looked at me and said, hi. I said, give me a hug. And she was looking like, I don't want you to touch me. But I know you want to, so go ahead. And when I hugged her, it was like, she was like, she didn't want me to hug her because that man was beating her. But it's like this. The man changed afterwards. He didn't beat her before. It wasn't like the burning bed. That's why I tell any woman that's a man beating her now they think about getting married. Have you ever watched The Burning Bed? He beat her the whole time while they were just boyfriends and girlfriends. And then after they got married, still beating her till she flipped in her mind. But what do you think? I know I couldn't do it. But she did it. This is a story. This is a true story about a woman who was going through with her husband and she stayed right there. I know about another lady. I mean, her husband was beating her, but she prayed. She said, enough of this. She prayed that spirit off that man. And now that they're living a good marriage right now. But sometimes we can avoid a situation if we just listen to what someone is telling us. It's not the fact that people don't want us to get married, want people to get married. It's just that they see stuff that you're not looking at. A lot of times, I even think about the woman whose husband wanted her daughter, but because they were already having sex, she couldn't see none of that. Somebody had to take communion with her, pray that her eyes open before she can even see it. And they told her, and she ended up telling him after a while, why didn't I see that? Because you was laid up in sin with the person. You couldn't see that. But isn't that something about how she stayed with him even after what he did? Is that agape love?